What's up, y'all? My name's Moleman3000, and today we are going to be talking about what exactly a vision is and how we're going to start building one. This is the second video in a series of videos where I explain how you can become a mythic D&D hero. If you click this button right here, it will take you to the beginning of the playlist if you didn't already start there. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Part 1. Okay, so I know I keep talking about a vision and why it is so important, but what exactly is it? So for our purposes, a vision is the most powerful spell anyone can cast anywhere at any point. Now this spell is unlike most other spells because it actually has a life of its own. You can almost think of it as a sentient spirit guardian / familiar thing that you nurture and cradle and you love and care for it and protect it, and eventually you give birth to it. Now, once this vision spell is done preparing, we will have the ability to summon it in a moment's notice without any cost to our precious spell slots. Now, aside from being extremely powerful, this spell is also incredibly fragile and volatile. If any part of this ritual is messed up in any way, and I mean in any way, it could jeopardize the life of our newborn baby spirit vision familiar spell. This incantation is not exclusive to any one class. In fact, finding a class is a part of this extremely elaborate incantation. Now, much like a real-life baby, our vision requires much tender love and care. It requires massive amounts of nourishment in the form of kinetic, psychic, and spiritual energy. Also, like raising a baby, raising a vision spell requires massive, monumental amounts of patience. Now, at the start of this process, your vision is really nothing more than a small, petite little ball of potential. But as you feed it, it will become bigger in size and raw power. But it will also become narrower in scope. This is because as time goes on, not only does it grow more in raw power, but it also becomes more defined. Part 2! What actually is a vision? Now that we have established how to conceptualize and visualize what our vision is, it's time to talk about what it actually consists of. What actually is this vision? This book here is called Visioneering, and it's by Andy Stanley, and I would consider this mandatory reading for anyone who is interested in actually developing a vision. Link in the description. Now, to quote Andy Stanley, a vision is a strong mental picture of what could be, fueled by the conviction that it should be. What I believe a vision to be is a consistent set of ideas that you have throughout your life about what your future could hold. It's like a through line or a theme, or in musical terms, a leitmotif. A vision is also like a beacon. It guides us and our decisions that we make throughout life. To quote Andy Stanley yet again, a vision forms in the hearts of those who are dissatisfied with the status quo. How we think our future should be is very different and a very long way than how our present is right now. Knowing that our future should be better doesn't really do anything for us unless we actually believe that it could be possible. So, if our vision is a familiar spirit spell slowly being developed over time, then it is also the material embodiment of what your life should be like, but also could be like. Now, if our vision spirit familiar is alive, then it is our sole duty to make sure it stays alive. Which means that this point forward, every single decision we make will be based upon what will help our vision grow. The needs of our vision will guide us through life. Now, nurturing and caring for a vision spell isn't just a guide through our life, it is a source of passion and a source of motivation. It will help us to discover what is most meaningful in our lives, because meaning is one of the most fundamental sources of nutrition and of power for your vision. Part 3. Now we come to the hard part. As I said before, a vision is born in the hearts of those who are dissatisfied with the status quo. Well, a vision isn't the only thing that's born. Lurking within us is another spirit being not unlike the vision that we are trying to create. It is its reverse. Some call it the shadow, some call it the id. It doesn't matter. They're all the same. We've all seen different representations of it. We could think of the Venom symbiote from Spider-Man, or we could think of Ichigo's hollow form from Bleach. This is our dark side, and it is just as important to develop this as well as our vision. This is the manifestation of all of our insecurities and fears. This is everything about ourselves that we might be ashamed of or possibly even afraid of. It feeds off of these things and it grows stronger from them. If this part of yourself takes hold, then the loss of your vision is the least of your concerns. It takes a strong and disciplined mind to wield one's dark side. But once we have conquered it and established dominion over it, then it will act as an invaluable weapon, in not only nurturing our vision spirit, but protecting it from potential harm. So, how do we actually go about developing our dark side? How do we develop our shadow? Well, we have to ask some questions. We have to ask what makes us insecure. What exactly are we afraid of? Why are we insecure? Why are we afraid of these things? Are our fears and insecurities preventing us from doing the things that we want to do? If so, we have to travel to the deepest, darkest recesses of our soul. We have to confront our shadow, and we have to put it in its place. Doing this will not only destroy any and all self-imposed obstacles, but it will also help us identify some of the things that we find meaningful. Which brings us to the next point. Part 4. Meaning. For those of us who have played Skyrim, we would know that if someone wants to learn a word of power, we don't just simply learn the word in a rough translation of its meaning and then we're off to Fusro Town. That's not how any of this works, no. In order to actually summon the power of the Thu'um, one must first take in the meaning of the word into their soul, into their very being. You must, in a sense, become one with the word. So, what is meaning then? Meaning is a feeling. It's when we are so consumed with a task or an activity that our ability to perceive anything else just completely disintegrates. It's what some people would call the flow state. It is the uncontrollable compulsion to do something because it seems important, it seems meaningful. It's knowing that what you're doing is unquestionably and monumentally important. It's almost indescribable. It's almost unexplainable. It just is. It's a feeling. In order to know what our vision actually consists of, we have to know what provides our life with meaning. And in order to understand what provides our lives with meaning, we have to experience different stuff. We have to be able to observe ourselves and be introspective. We have to pretend that we have the ability to watch ourselves from a third-person perspective, and while we're watching ourselves, we have to start asking questions. How am I thinking? Am I enjoying this thing? Do I not enjoy this thing? Am I thinking that I want to enjoy this thing? Do I want to enjoy it because other people enjoy it? It is extremely important that we are 100% honest with ourselves, brutally honest with ourselves. If we're not, this whole process, it falls apart. The vision, well, it probably wasn't real to begin with. Part 5. Preparation. A vision rarely requires immediate action. It always requires patience. Patience is a virtue, but it is also a skill that you can master over time. The process of creating our spirit familiar spell is a very long and very, very complicated one. It requires a lot from us, and we are indeed expecting a lot in return. And it will come in its own time. As I said before, the vision spell is its own living being, so it will emerge when the time is right, not when we want it to. There is a lot that needs to be done before a vision can be properly launched. We have to be fully prepared. 100% prepared for when that time comes. Because that time will come of its own accord, and we do not want to be caught with our pants down. What the vision requires of you right now is to prepare. How do we prepare? We prepare by improving ourselves. We prepare by experiencing life. What we got to do is investigate and experiment. We've got to explore the world and experience new things. We got to be insightful. We must constantly be asking questions. We must constantly be evaluating ourselves, observing ourselves and our feelings. We have to actively be pursuing that feeling of meaning. Ultimately, what we are trying to do is affirm that our vision is true. If we know that our vision is true, then we want to nurture it, make it stronger, and focus and develop it as much as possible. It could take weeks, months, possibly years until our vision is properly and fully developed. But keep faith, stay strong, and whatever you do, do not give up. Recap. Remember that our vision is a fragile little baby that must be safeguarded from the external world. Our vision is also an embodiment of what our future should be. Our vision is also a manifestation of what we believe our future should and could be. Our vision is born from a discontentment of the present and drives us to growth. But it also creates within us a shadow, a manifestation of our insecurities and fears. If we conquer our shadow, we can be free to find what makes our life meaningful without any unnecessary sabotage. And remember that this is a process. It takes time. One day does not a hero make, nor does a vision. The road to level 20 is an arduous one, and we cannot do it alone. Hey guys, once again, I'd like to thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. It really does mean a lot to me. Now, for those of you who are interested in creating a vision for your life, I left 2 resources in the description. One is Visioneering by Andy Stanley, the book I referenced in this video, and the self-authoring program created by Jordan Peterson. These are truly, truly amazing resources that really help you sit down and think about what it is you want for yourself in the future. They really help you sit down and think about your ideal life and the ideal version of yourself. So, once again guys, links in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.